Some evenings stay glued to your skin forever. For me, it was a Saturday night at a loud bar that smelled like beer, perfume, and bad decisions. I was sitting at a high-top table with my boyfriend, Jacob, and his 3 friends, none who spoke like the world was their locker room, their playground. Their stage. At first, the jokes were stupid, harmless, annoying. Then they turned into something else. "Hey, Jacob," one of them snorted, nodding at me. "Tell your girl to smile more. She looks like she's calculating our net worth." Another chimed in, "Maybe she's just bored. You know how women get when they hit. What, 28? They start planning backup husbands." Laughter exploded around the table. Except for me. Jacob didn't defend me. He didn't even glance at me. He just lifted his beer and said, "Relax, guys. She's sensitive. If she doesn't like the jokes, she can just leave." He said it casually. Like I was disposable. Like my comfort didn't matter. Like I wasn't the woman who had stood beside him through his layoffs, breakdowns, and the year he couldn't get out of bed. I sat there quietly. And in that silence, something inside me cracked open, a quiet, steady decision. I would leave. And I would take the truth with me. Part 2 set up 530 words. Jacob and I had been together for 3 years. Not perfect years, but years filled with the kind of love that feels real because it comes with flaws, arguments, and moments of extraordinary sweetness. He used to adore me. He used to protect me. He used to be kind, but things changed after he got his new job. Suddenly, his world revolved around his coworkers, 3 men who believed loyalty meant agreeing with everything they said, laughing at every cruel joke, and belittling anyone who did in single quotes t. Jacob wanted to impress them, needed their approval like oxygen. And somewhere along the way, I became a background character in my own relationship. At home, he was still gentle sometimes, but around them, it was like watching an impersonation of a man trying to be someone he wasn't. He became louder, meaner, eager to please, eager to belong. And worst of all, he stopped noticing me, the woman who handled the rent when he was unemployed, the woman who supported his dream of becoming a photographer, the woman who cooked, cleaned, encouraged, lifted him up, gave him patience he rarely returned. I told myself it was a phase, a temporary fog, stress, exhaustion, burnout. But you can't ignore the feeling of being erased. Not when it grows stronger every day. Before that bar night, I confronted him once. "Jacob, your friends make me uncomfortable." He rolled his eyes. "Oh, come on. They're harmless. They insult people. They insult women. They're joking, babe. You take everything so seriously. I just want you to stand up for me. I'm not your babysitter," he snapped. "You're an adult. If you don't like them, don't hang out with us." But he insisted I go that night, said it was important to him. I didn't know why not yet, but I would. And the truth, the real truth, was darker than a rude joke or bruised feelings. It was about loyalty, money, status, and a betrayal that had been unfolding for longer than I imagined. Part 3, Rising Action, 820 words. After Jacob humiliated me in front of his friends, I didn't argue. I didn't cry. I didn't storm out. I simply excused myself and said, "I'm leaving." His friends laughed like it was part of the entertainment. Jacob didn't follow me. He didn't call, didn't text, didn't check if I got home safely, and that told me everything about where I stood. I sat on my couch in silence for an hour. Then 2, then 3. At midnight, Jacob finally called. His voice was annoyed, not apologetic. "You really had to make it awkward like that?" My throat tightened. "They insulted me, Jacob, and you didn't care. I told you if you don't like the jokes, leave. Why are you making a big deal out of this?" "Because you don't protect me. You don't even respect me." He scoffed. "You're overreacting, Maya, again." Something inside me went still. I remembered every time he said I was too sensitive. Every time he dismissed my concerns. Every time he chose everyone else, coworkers, friends, strangers over me. But I also remembered something else. 2 months earlier, I had found a document in his backpack, a financial agreement between him and his friends to start a photography-based social media business. Jacob invested $12,000 my money from our shared savings account. He never told me. At the time, I convinced myself it was a mistake. That he must have planned to tell me later. That he was just excited. But now, seeing how little he valued me, everything twisted into clarity. I opened my bank app. Our joint account was lower than usual. Much lower. I checked the bank statements, withdrawals, transfers, cash apps. Expenses tied to WF Creative Studio LLC. My stomach dropped. He wasn't just trying to impress his friends. He was funding them. And draining me. That night, I didn't sleep. I sat at my desk researching their business, cross-referencing dates, receipts, emails. Then I found it, a contract signed by Jacob that made him personally liable for any losses, and a message thread that froze my blood. Jacob, don't worry. Should cover rent if anything goes wrong. Friend. Yeah, bro. Girlfriends are basically financial stability with legs. LO. Financial stability. With legs. I felt sick. By morning I had copied every document. Every message. Every financial record. I wasn't preparing for revenge. I was preparing for truth, and then at 10:42 a.m., I discovered the last piece of the puzzle, a Photoshop file labeled Studio Expansion Budget. I opened it. At the bottom. Under projected funding sources, it read, Maya, $35,000. Savings, inheritance. Inheritance, money my grandmother left me. Money Jacob had no right to touch. Money he was planning to use. My throat burned. My chest tightened. He wasn't embarrassed by those jokes. He meant them. He lived by them. He used me the same way they used everyone around them. When Jacob came home that evening, he acted like we had argued about nothing. He tried to kiss my cheek. I stepped back. We need to talk. I said quietly, about last night? He groaned. God, Maya, I already told you. No, I cut him off. About your business. His face froze. Color drained from his cheeks, and that's when he realized. I knew. Jacob shut the door behind him slowly, like someone bracing for impact. Why are you going through my things? He whispered. Anger flickered in his eyes, but behind it, fear. Given everything I now knew, he had every reason to be afraid. I placed the printed documents on the table. Start talking. He swallowed hard. I can explain. Then explain why you're using our joint savings to fund a business your friends treat like a joke. It's not like that. Explain why you plan to use my inheritance. Maya, explain why you think I would just cover the rent if your project failed. He flinched. Silence stretched between us like a wire pulled too tight. Finally he muttered, I was going to tell you. No, I said. You were going to take from me because you assumed you were entitled to what's mine. He rubbed his face. His voice cracked. They respect me, Maya. They think I'm talented. They think I can actually build something. I need this. But you don't need me? I whispered. He didn't answer, and that hurt more than anything else. Jacob, last night you said I could leave. His jaw clenched. I didn't mean it. Yes, I said softly. You did. And you've meant it for a long time. I handed him a folder. What's this? He asked. Proof, I said. Of everything you've done. He flipped through the pages rapidly. Banking fraud, unauthorized withdrawals, liability contracts. His breath grew sharp. You're going to destroy me. No, I said. You already destroyed us. His voice cracked. Please, Maya, don't do this. Don't walk away, but I was not his financial safety net. His emotional crutch. His silent supporter. Not anymore. I'm not walking away, I said. I'm cutting myself free. He reached for my hand. I stepped back. Goodbye, Jacob. I walked out the door with the folder, my purse, and the last pieces of the woman I used to be. The next morning, I met with a lawyer. She studied the evidence and said one sentence. That lifted the world from my shoulders. He has no legal right to your money. We'll separate the accounts today. Everything moved quickly after that. Our joint accounts were closed. My inheritance was transferred to a private trust, and the business Jacob had clung to so desperately collapsed. His friends bailed. The investments dried. Their equipment was repossessed. WF Creative Studio dissolved within a month. And Jacob? He moved back into his mother's basement. One evening he tried calling me. I didn't answer. He texted. I'm sorry. You were the only real thing I had. I didn't reply. Some truths. don't need answers. Some endings don't need closure. And some heartbreaks become liberation. It's been 8 months. I live alone now. Peacefully. Quietly, fully. I take evening walks by the lake. I read books I'd forgotten I loved. I make coffee for one, and it tastes like freedom. Sometimes healing isn't fireworks. Sometimes it's a gentle unfolding, like soft light entering a room that's been dark for too long. Do I miss Jacob? No, I miss the man I thought he was. But that man never existed. Last month, I saw 2 of his old friends at the grocery store. They looked smaller, deflated. Lost. They whispered something to each other when they saw me. I didn't care. As I walked past them. One muttered under his breath, "She left and took everything." And I smiled because I didn't take anything that wasn't already mine. What I did take was the truth about my worth, my boundaries, my strength, my capacity to walk away from what hurts, my ability to rebuild, the truth Jacob refused to see. The truth I finally claimed. Leaving was never the loss. Losing myself would have been. I stepped out of that bar months ago, humiliated. But I stepped into my life the moment I left him, and that's a decision I'll never regret.